They push you to pay off your house as fast as possible, principal and interest, like it's the holy grail. But the truth, it traps your money in debt equity that does nothing for you. And look, my parents did this. They tried to pay off their mortgage. They really saved every cent, put it all into the mortgage. Inflation is bigger than what you are. So AMP's Dana Musina said, you gain if you buy early, but lose if prices rise first, right? So you know what he's really saying? Buy really early, buy quickly, because they're going to push prices up even more. A valuation means one thing. It means that the pencil pusher that looked at your property wrote a number on it to keep himself safe so he doesn't lose his job. And the banks want to have a low valuation to get the least risk for themselves.
And there was about was it a $30,000 or $35,000 shortfall?
35,000, yeah.
And I remember the first words that came out of your mouth, Greg. You're like, "Am I paying overpriced for this property?"
Yeah, like this is our first one, and it's cost us up to a certain amount now, and now we've got to pay an extra 35.
And I was thinking, have we got a dodgy valuer? What's going on?
Yeah, but we didn't know.
Well,
and that's the
you did
thing.
a dodgy valuer because the other valuation.
Dodgy valuer.
Right? Okay, and we're live. Hello, this is George Markowski from Positive Property. Welcome to Money for Life. This is where you learn how to create money for life through property investing. Today, we're going to crack a story for you. It's about a deal everyone thought was a disaster. They said it was the wrong suburb, a risky mistake, and at first it looked like they were going to take a $30,000 hit. But here's the kicker. The same property made over $134,000. Now, what I want to talk about today, I'm going to have a bit of a rant. So if you're a big fan of my rants, stay listening till the end, because I'm going to go through the case study and show you exactly how they did it. But also, I'm going to go through the 7 things you thought were true that aren't true. And I'm going to break some beliefs tonight. So have you heard of the, sacred cows? I'm going to be slaughtering a lot of sacred cows tonight. I'm going to be breaking some eggs, slaughtering some sacred cows, because I'm in the mood to do a big rant and really get things kicking.
If you're a vegan, avocados.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Let me just get this presentation happening and we'll get started. So let's go through this. We're going to start with the state of the nation, as I always do, tell you what's going on in property, and then we're going to move on and do a case study. So RBA pulled Aussie consumers out of recession. The Australian per capita household consumption has slightly gone up. So the Australian Consumer Index is the largest component of the economy, and the sluggish pace of growth recently has constrained Australia's economic recovery. Since the rate drop, it's gone back up. Now, household consumption, you can see this. 2021, it went right down. 2020, COVID. And now it's gone right up. It's the highest it's ever been. You look at total household consumption, it's the highest it's been, so is capita, right? And now, with the 3 rate cuts delivered, this is going to be driving more consumption and people spending money, which is going to take us out of that recession. And look at the real household disposable income.
Wow, look at that.
It's gone back up to the line where it should be. So what does this mean? Well, disposable income is very important because what it means is how much money people can spend. And one of the things that was pulling a big handbrake on this was interest rates, because one of the biggest things that people spend in Australia is actually on their mortgage, especially because they don't structure it right. And this is the thing. So now consumption, a real household disposable income's gone up. This is good news for business, good news if you're a property investor, maybe, because people are going to start spending money on property. Now, financial markets are tipping 2 or 3 more 25 base point rate cuts by mid-2026. And that's going to even free up even more disposable income. Because at the moment, we're right on the line where we should be. So any other rate drop, it's actually going to go above the line. It's going to be the highest disposable income we've ever had in this country. Pretty amazing. Per capita, we're actually the 2nd richest country in the world. Isn't that amazing? Because you hear about, Singapore, Monaco, and all these amazing places, but Australia are doing very, very well. The rate cuts also sending house price hopes berserk. So basically, consumer sentiment is up. Home buyer sentiment is up by 10.5%, and consumers still very bullish on property prices. Australian home prices hit a fresh record high in July, with more growth expected. I've shown you this graph before, but it's really good to see. Whenever there's a rate drop, property prices go up every single time. It's just a matter of how much. And Labor ignites a match on the house prices. So they brought forward their 5% deposit scheme for her first home buyers. So what they're going to do is they're going to guarantee 15% of purchase price and remove the income limits. And this lifts property caps as high as 1.5 million in Sydney. So you can be a first home buyer and buy a $1.5 million property and only pay 5% deposit.
Yeah, wow, huh?
I know. When I was a first home buyer, there was no such thing as a $1.5 million property, I don't think. Anyway, now this is the thing. History shows that demand side affordability schemes don't work. All they do is inflate mortgages and drive up home prices. So AMP's Dana Musina said boosts to first home buyers are usually inflationary. You gain if you buy early, but lose if prices rise first, right? So you know what he's really saying? If you read between the lines, buy really early, buy quickly, because they're going to push prices up even more, which is going to happen every time. And as you can see, you know, we just don't have enough properties. And now we've just put more money in the market. I think this happens in October. That's going to be the big thing. We put more money in the market, more liquidity, and it's going to be taken up pretty quickly. So housing supply can't keep up demand. If you look at this, this is companies going into administration. Have a look at construction up the top.
Yeah, wow, it keeps dipping, doesn't it?
It's still high, very high. Now, look at this, loans for purchase and construction of new homes. It's gone right down. People aren't buying brand new property. You know why? You can't buy it, you can't find it. You can't find it. How can you buy it if it's not there? So let me talk about the 7 lies you were taught to believe, but aren't true. But I want to talk a little bit about this. What happens is, the reason they invented school was to get peasants to learn how to work on time and rock up on time, because they never did when they were working in the fields, and teach you how to be a worker drone and work in a factory. Our system has been made to create slave labor, people that, you know, they go to school, then you go to high school, then you go to work, or you go to a university, you get a job, you work for 40 years, and then you live off your super or the age-old pension. The fact of it is, it's not designed to create freedom for people. It's designed to do the opposite and take away your freedom and get you working. And implicit in all this is they give you ideas that they propagate for you to believe. And this is further from the truth, because the wealthy, they've got a different set of principles and values. And the poor, they got what they got taught. And look, if you believe all this, it's not your fault. But I'm here to dispel the lies and give you the real raw truth. Because when I found all this out, that changed from me struggling financially to me becoming financially wealthy. And if you ask me, was I having more fun when I was poor or when I was wealthy? I can honestly tell you, being wealthy is a lot better than being poor. And people that say to you, oh, I don't care about money, it's not important, that's because they don't have any. But if you have money, it's different. And I'm going to start with owning a home outright. The number one thing that people believe that's not true is owning a home. They push you to pay off your house as fast as possible, principal and interest, like it's the holy grail. But the truth, it traps your money in debt equity that does nothing for you. The bank loves it. You're less risky, but you're broke on paper. That's the number one thing. And a lot of people, because of our rapid mortgage reduction, they join our program because they want to pay off their home. That's their number one goal. And I'm saying that's not your number one goal. It's your number one goal because it's been programmed in your head. And what we need to do is deprogram ourselves. 2, superannuation equals retirement plan. They drill into you that super is your ticket to freedom. Reality check. It's a ticket to waiting until you're 67 to live in a government-approved allowance. The government loves it. They control your money for 40 years, but you just handcuffed yourself to the system. If you think super is going to give you freedom, you're wrong. It's not going to happen. And now what they're doing is, if you have a lot of super, they're going to tax unrealized gains anyway and take it off you. And do you think it's going to get any better in the future? No, it's going to get worse. So the government gives it one hand, takes it away with the other. The problem with super is the government controls it and you've got no control. Job security. Schools, parents, government, they all tell you get a secure job. Translation, work 40 years making someone else rich. Well, the tax office skims the cream off every paycheck. Security for them, slavery for you. So the one thing about being in a job is you don't get any tax deductions. That's the real issue. Because the wealthy, they want to own their own business to get tax deductions. Now, we've got a way around this. And it's a really smart way of buying property and then using depreciation to lose money on paper and actually get tax deductions while you're working a job. And that's the key. Okay, low risk, safe investments. They pump you with safe products, term deposits, government bonds, managed funds. They call it security, but it's really a slow death. Inflation eats you alive while the institutions pocket the fees. All these safe term deposits and all this other stuff, putting your money in the bank for a fixed term, it doesn't even keep up with inflation. And at the end, you've got less money than what you started with, even though it looks good. But if you look at the interest on government bond term deposits and managed funds, it's very low. Living debt-free. Debt is bad, pay it off. That's the programming. Meanwhile, the wealthy are laughing, using debt to buy assets, multiplying their wealth tax-free, while the middle class boast about having no debt, but also no freedom. The difference is we're taught debt is bad, pay off your debt. Bad debt is bad. Good debt is good. And what you want is you cannot create financial freedom without having debt. It's just not going to happen. The 30-year mortgage dream. Buy one house, pay it off for 30 years, retire, die. That's the script. The bank loves it, guaranteed interest for 3 decades. But you've just locked yourself into the slowest, most expensive way to nowhere. Right? This is the whole principal and interest, pay off my mortgage. And look, my parents did this. They tried to pay off their mortgage. They really saved every cent, put it all into the mortgage. Inflation is bigger than what you are. You, as a person or a couple, as a family, it's hard for you to even dent it. So what we do instead is we use inflation to pay off our loans. And for your principal place of residence, you get help. How can you get help paying off your mortgage? You get this thing called investment property and the tenant and taxman to help you and get all them paying for it instead. That's what I did. And the more properties you have, the more help you have. So the more properties you have, the safer you are. Having more properties, having more debt is not riskier, it's safer if you know what you're doing. 7, follow the news. They condition you to trust the media for financial advice, yet the media makes money selling fear, not building wealth. By the time they say the market is safe, the opportunities are already gone. The CNN, I call it the crisis news network. You know what they say, if it bleeds, it leads.
Or as Donald Trump would say, fake news, ladies and gentlemen, fake news.
Donald Trump. Yes, exactly. So the thing is, there's a lot of things that we believe that are not real. And I was having a chat to ChatGPT. I'm going to have a chat to him right now. And because I recently got my BMI, right? Everyone's heard of BMI, body mass index. Hi, chat. I'm 5'11" and I'm 98 kilos. What's my BMI?
Absolutely, just the numbers here. So if you're 5'11" and 98 kilos, your BMI is about 30.6.
Okay, what category is that?
No fluff. That BMI of 30.6 lands you in the obese category. Just giving it to you straight.
Okay, so I'm obese. Oh, let me tell you my body fat percentage. I'm 13.2% body fat. Does that change things?
Yeah, absolutely. That changes the picture a lot. With 13.2% body fat, you're definitely not what most folks would call obese in terms of body composition. BMI is just a rough measure. It doesn't know the difference between muscle and fat. So in reality, you're just a fit guy with a misleading BMI number.
Like that.
There you go. The thing is, right, a little bit of information is dangerous. And what you need to do is dig deeper. But I'm actually obese, categorized obese. And I spoke to my doctor today and she said I'm obese because of teleconsult. And I actually got prescribed tirzepatide. But I actually wanted it, which is good because I want to reduce my body fat even lower than 13%. I need to get it down to 11. Now, another thing. Okay, MBA. Who's heard of an MBA?
Yes.
Yes. I did research, and 88% of millionaires don't have an MBA, and around 80% of billionaires don't have an MBA. But they do, but it's a different type of MBA. Because I've got an MBA, but I've got the MBA that matters. And I call this a massive bank account, right? And that's what really matters, because people think you want an MBA, and does that prove that you're good at anything? Not really, it just proves you're good at studying. But if you got a massive bank account, that proves that you're good at doing what you're doing. That's the fact of it. And that's the real truth. So a lot of things we're taught, and what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about valuations.
Yeah, so we have an in-house little fund for valuations. We call it playing Russian roulette because depending on the valuer, depending on the mood, depending on the day, they'll come in some on the dollar and sometimes under a purchase price. So it's an interesting path to navigate as an investor.
Yes, yes. And what I want to do is help people get clarity, because the difference between the wealthy and the poor is the wealthy know what matters and what doesn't matter. And this is where you need to become smart, because we get programmed to think we know what matters, but we're actually wrong. So I'll tell you one thing, for example, because as you know, we buy in the top 100 suburbs out of 15,000 suburbs. And I know what matters, because when you buy in the top 100, you're going to reliably get a property. It's going to double consistently every 7 or 10 years, over and over again. And then you hear people go, okay, but I really want to buy a property 8 kilometers from the city because I've heard that's good. Now, I'll tell you why that's not a good strategy in itself. 8 kilometers from the city may be good, but the 8 kilometers doesn't make a property good. I'll tell you why. Because that property has always been 8 kilometers from the city. It's already baked into the price. So we need to find another gap there. It's not as if people are going, oh my God, I didn't realize there's 8 Ks in the city. I'm going to pay more for that. They already knew that, right? And people think, wow, I got special information. Well, you don't. It's 8 Ks in the city. Or they go, well, I want to buy a property near a school. Well, is being near a school good? It can be, but it might not be what you're looking for, because if the property prices in that suburb are already overvalued, why would you want to buy just because it's near a school? What we want to do is we want to buy a property that's undervalued, that's going to go up, correct? So
Correct. That's the property clock though, isn't it, George? It's
that's right. We want to buy at 7 o'clock. Now, there can be properties near a school or 8 Ks in the city at 12 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, any time of the market. But we want to find the property at 7. Now, me personally, I don't care if it's near a school or 8 Ks or 50 Ks or any of that stuff. What I care about is at 7 o'clock, right? And has it got the possibility to go up to 12? That's what I care about. That's the important thing. And then when it comes to valuations, you know, people want to get a good valuation. Is that a bad thing? No. Getting a good valuation is a good thing. What does a valuation mean? A valuation means one thing. It means that the pencil pusher that did this course at uni, that looked at your property, wrote a number on it to keep himself safe so he doesn't lose his job. And the banks want to have a low valuation to get the least risk for themselves. Now, what happens is you've got different types of valuers. The more experience a valuer has, the better the valuation, because they know what they're doing. The more green the valuer is, the worse your valuation, because what they do is they look around and go, okay, what does it compare it to? Because when you do a valuation, I'll tell you how it works. Because I studied valuations and passed my course in that when I got my real estate license. So
well done, George. Yeah. There we go. We've got an expert in the house.
I know exactly how to do valuations. And you know, Adam's very good at doing valuations. He's better than me, because Adam can actually look at the build and know exactly what costs how much. He's really good at.
Yeah, per square meter.
I can do comparables and get the valuation, but between the two of us, we're excellent. So what you do is get comparable sales. You've got a 4-bedroom house here. This is the age. And then you look at other 4-bedroom houses that have sold, and then you compare it. Problem is, when you're looking at those comparable sales, that's sales that happened before, not after. So what you're doing is you're doing a valuation of this property in the past, not the future. But we want to know what it's going to be worth in the future, or what it's worth now. So you can never get a valuation of what it's worth now you get a valuation of what it's worth compared to the properties that sold a while ago. It depends how long ago they sold, depending on the suburb. And in some suburbs, that can be quite old because what happens is a property sells, but then it has to settle. So then it's sold for a certain price, but then it's settled, and that's when you get the valuation in. And by then, it may have gone up or down. We don't know. So is getting a good valuation good? Yes. But is getting a bad valuation a no? Is that bad? Depends. And I'll explain how that works. A valuation is just an opinion, and a valuation comes in handy to get the loan. But that's all it means. Now, a lot of people, what they do is they play this mind game, right? And when you play mind games, you've got to be careful. But they play this mind game to say, okay, I'm going to buy this property. If the valuation comes in $1 or more or higher than what I'm paid for it, then I've got certainty and I'm going to feel good about this and I'm going to buy this property. And if not, I don't have certainty, I'm not going to buy it. Well, you're putting your hands into maybe a rookie person who doesn't know what they're doing and using them for your certainty. But really, at the end of the day, you're better off getting people that know what they're doing, helping you with this instead. And the wealthy people, we know how to value something a lot better than the valuers. And that's why we've become wealthy, because we know what we're doing. And when you can find something that's undervalued, that's where the money is. So when I find a suburb in the top 100, why is the top 100 good? I'll tell you why. It's undervalued. Does that make sense? If it was overvalued, would it be in the top 100? No. It is undervalued. That's exactly why I'm buying there. It's undervalued. So what do you think a valuer is going to think of an undervalued suburban property? He's going to undervalue it. Yes?
Yeah.
Of course they are, right? So we've got to think to ourselves, do we want to buy something undervalued that's going to go up in value, or do you want to buy somewhere and get a good value? Now, where do you think I can get a really good valuation on a property? I'll tell you where. At 1 o'clock. You know the property clock? At 1, after it's peaked and it's going down, that's where you get the highest valuation, when the property market's actually already dropped, because there's a lag between the comparables and they give you a valuation. So people go, wow, look at this property. It's got more than what I paid for it. Hold on a second. That property may have gone down because it's at 1 o'clock. So if you want to hunt for properties that are overvalued, there's thousands of suburbs to do that. If you want to find undervalued suburbs, that's difficult, right? So people, it's a complex equivalence. So people should not confuse a good valuation with a good property that's going to go up, because sometimes it means it's a property that's already gone down or property that's gone up a lot. And that's what we're going to go through this case study tonight to explain it to you. And you've got to be clear on that, because like those 7 things that I said that you believe that aren't true, it's really easy to believe that if the bank values something higher than what it is, you've got a bargain, you've got instant equity. But equity in valuation terms, there's a lag, 6 to 12 month lag. And when you get something at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning out of the property clock where it's already dropped, that's usually the highest valuation. Now, you can still get good valuations in other areas too. And especially if you get different valuers and someone that knows what they're doing. Because if you get a very experienced valuer, they're going to value the top 100 on the dollar or higher because they know what they're doing. But most people are inexperienced, and they're the ones you've got to watch out for. And you don't know who you're going to get, because it's Russian roulette, like you said, Charmaine, because people just go in there and it happens, right? And that's the thing. So,
and with Russian roulette, you could have, and this is the fun, interesting part about valuations, is that you would think there's a criteria that they can get it right, you know, on the dollar, on par. But when you get multiple valuations, they can vary between 5,000, 20,000. I've seen them, you know,
100,000,
60,000, 100,000. So when you've got all these different opinions with all these different numbers, you know, that's where you've got to have the experience and the trust in your, with obviously positive property, because we've got the experience, but just within yourself to be able to discern what is actually real and what actually isn't.
Yes, absolutely. And I actually raised the property of one of my properties valuation by 500,000 by just what I did is I got a high pressure hose, someone to come in and high pressure hose. And then what I did is I wrote a list and said, I repainted here, did this, and I wrote a big list of what I spent on the property, which I didn't. I just said that I did. And I had it in writing. I gave it to the valuer, and the valuer, they're very lazy. And if you give something in writing, they have to consider it. But if you talk to them, they don't. And I got a valuation. Then 2 months later, I did the high pressure hose thing, tied it up a little bit, decluttered, wrote all this stuff down, wrote that I painted everything, and I didn't paint anything at all. All I did is clean it. And I gave it to them, and then $500,000 more. It's an equity. You know what I did with that 500,000? Bought another 2 properties. It was great, right?
And it's interesting with vows too, because bank valuations can be very different from, say, a real estate and sales agent. Like I had a bank valuation done on one of my properties, and it said it was like 920,000. Then I had 2 real estate agents come out and do a valuation on my property, and they said 1.2, and provided me all of the recent data and sales in the area to say that if I was to sell tomorrow, they'd get me 1.2 versus what the bank said, which was like 940, which is quite fascinating. Again, the differences in valuations.
Yeah, and look, the real estate agents, they sell properties, so they've got a pretty good idea of what they're doing. But sometimes they over-exaggerate to try to get you to sell as well. You got to be careful. But if you get the right...
Well, I got 2, and they both came back the same, and I was like, okay, that's
there you
it.
go. There you go.
I got a couple, because I know how they operate. Well, you want to get a few to come in, and then you'll kind of get the kind of line of truth there. And I thought it was fascinating. They both came in at the same price. So I was like, okay.
There's 2 types of real estate agents, right? The real estate agents that give you the real price, and the ones that over-exaggerate. And when I was a real estate agent, you had the choice, right? Yeah. You can lie, and then you've got one hell of a job, or you just do it up front and give them the real price, and then your job's easy, right?
Well, they kind of have to.
If you're selling a property and you give the wrong price, you're going to have a battle. It's just going to be hard work. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and I did give them my resume as a property coach of positive property. So I think with the intimidation there, they had to be very conservative because I knew what I was doing.
That's right. Excellent. So look, I reckon what we do is do our little case study.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited because, George, I don't know if you know this, but Greg and Suzanne are already in Bali. They're waiting for us right now.
Wait, hold it a second. Look at that background. I should have realised. Okay, can we get Greg and Suzanne up, please?
They're actually zooming in for Bali. They were concerned about the internet connection, but I'm like, if George can do it, so can you.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Suzanne. How are you?
Good, Charmaine. How are you?
You're looking really well. You look great. The Bali.
We feel good.
Well for you. Now, are you in Seminyak?
Yeah. No, we're in
Ubud.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, very
yes, lovely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Charmaine and I are going to be coming up and meeting up with you anyway very soon. I'm flying up Wednesday, and I think, Charmaine, you're coming up Thursday or something?
Yeah, look out, members, because most members who've gone to our events know I'm a bit of a hugger, so get your arms ready.
She is.
That's right. So,
Greg's like, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm really excited to talk to you about this, Greg and Susan, because so I want to start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. How did you end up joining Positive Property?
Well, pretty much. We've been studying it for a while, and we're just basically looking at houses and stuff, and not really knowing what they're doing. So we thought we need to get some help here, and we looked around, and your name came up. So I found you through your website, did a bit of research, and then had a kickoff call, basically. And that's going back about 18 months ago. So we were really,
But if I can just say, we were looking in rural areas just out of Adelaide.
Yes.
And we were like, it was nice because we're going on like little two-day trips, having a look and thinking if it's right or wrong, are we going to make money out of it? And we were just like, oh, this is just a gamble. It's a complete gamble. Is it right? Is it wrong? Yeah. And we both had gut feelings that it wasn't right, but we wanted it to be right. Mm-hmm. And that's when Greg said, you know what? We're not going to gamble. let's just get some like constructive information and go from there. And that's how we came across to you.
And we did our research too, George. We looked at a lot of other people as well. And you came out on top with us.
Okay, that's lovely to hear. How come? Why did you come out on top? I'm curious.
You're personal. It was a personal interview.
It was your love of your job, basically. You could see it. I love it. Yeah. Your team as well.
Your team are very professional and very passionate, and they love you. And it's like, really? Okay, this is cool. Let's go further, because if they love you and they trust you 100%, then there's obviously something very special about the core of the business. And so that's where we went, okay, let's go a bit further.
Definitely.
And then we just went, you know what? I can't swear, I know, on TV, but it was like, well, what, sometimes you got to jump in. Like, what do? You got to jump in. You got to go, okay, stuff it. We got nothing else to go on. Let's just have a go. Let's see what happens. It's only 20, or what we paid.
And we haven't looked back.
And we haven't.
Yep. Excellent. Okay, you've been in the program 18 months, and we're about to talk about your property in Ipswich, I think.
Redbank Plains.
Redbank Plains.
Did you buy any other properties before that with us, or is this your first one?
No, that's the first one.
Okay, great. Excellent. So now we can
Charmaine.
Yep. Charmaine helped you that one.
Excellent. She helped us with that one. Yep.
Okay. Charmaine, tell us the story. So,
Redbank Plains. So it was interesting because we had a lot of vows come in on the dollar, and this is really feeding into the whole story about what to do when you have a shortfall. And I think by memory, Greg, we had some limitations with lenders, because some of the strategies we work with as a property coach and a positive property is that if we get a low val and we can't get a valuer of choice to get that valuation on the dollar, our brokers will move you to another lender who has that valuer of choice on their panel to get that val on the dollar, because we're working as diligently behind the scenes as we can to get that val on the dollar. But I think we had some limitations. We couldn't move you to other lenders. And there was about was it a $30,000 or $35,000 shortfall?
$35,000, yeah. And
$35,000 shortfall. And I remember the first words that came out of your mouth, Greg. You're like, am I paying overpriced for this property?
That's true, yeah.
Good question. And a good question.
It's a very good question to have.
Yep. And tell me, how did you feel? How did you feel when that was $35,000?
I felt like, like we're spending more money in the property now, and this is our first one, and it's cost us up to a certain amount now, and now we've got to pay an extra 35.
And I was thinking, have we got a dodgy valuer? What's going on?
Yeah, but we didn't know. Well,
and that's the thing. A dodgy valuer, because the other valuation.
Dodgy valuer.
Right? That bank
we have learned now that doesn't matter. Yeah.
What gave you the confidence to go ahead? Because it'd be hard.
The trust.
It was the research that you put into it that we just thought, let's just go with this. It's only 30,000, and if we can make it up, we've done everything we can, and we're on our way. That's why we went ahead with it, because of the research that you do.
And the gut feeling as well. Yeah.
Okay, great. Because the thing is,
part of it too.
Yeah. How much was that property all up?
600,000, you could say. Yeah. Just under. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I want to do is play devil's advocate. Let's say you bought a $600,000 property. Now this property should be doubling in 10 years, right? It's going to go up to 1.2. And let's say the valuer was actually quite smart and you paid 35,000 too much, right? Let's say it was 35,000 too much on this property. But 1.2, so you would have made $600,000 profit, but instead you would have made $565,000 profit in 10 years' time. Now, if you made $565,000 instead of $600,000, would that be that bad?
No.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
No.
Anyway, that wasn't the case anyway. But that's what I'm trying to tell people, that when I'm looking at a valuation, if I'm a little bit out of the purchase price, even if I was wrong, it wouldn't matter, because long term, you need a property that's going to go up, right? And not having a property is not going to get you there. But in this circumstance, the valuation was wrong anyway. Because how long did we go till we settled on that property?
How long did we go? We were it's probably about 6 months since we bought it.
Yeah, so
About
you
6
bought it,
months,
and how
I'd
long
say.
did it take you to get it?
6 months, I think, 6 to 7 months.
So in
Yeah.
January, we got the keys. Settled.
Yeah, that's when it settled.
Yeah.
We purchased it about July, Charmaine?
These properties were almost
I think
complete,
it's
so they were
around
already
there.
under construction,
Yeah,
and some of the properties were already completed as well.
Oh, great. So you had it for 6 months, right?
yeah,
Yep. And here we go. So you bought it for 600,000. I've got the numbers here, and you
Yep.
paid $60,000 deposit, and the valuation was 35,000 under. But now the current value is 733,900. So the current profit is 134,000. So in 6 months, it's gone. You've made 134,000 in 6 months. That's
Yes.
huge.
yeah.
So you've made 223% in 6 months.
Yeah.
I know, we can't believe it.
That's astounding, right?
But you can believe it because you've got the right team around you. But I know
That's
Yes,
exactly right.
yes.
That's exactly right.
Yes, it's the knowledge. It's the knowledge behind.
Yeah.
134,000 in 6 months. A lot of people wouldn't earn that in 6 months.
No.
134 grand. And you've done this passively, and that's a great start to your investment journey. It's fantastic.
Definitely.
People rave about a 7% return. They go, "Oh, this stock went 7%, and we're doing 200 something percent. Like, it's crazy."
Yeah. Well, the equity we're using out of it now is being used to buy another property. So
Exactly,
yeah,
and that's what I
impressed
love
about that too.
That's beautiful. That you can just jump in, buy property. You got instant equity, and you've got
Yeah.
that equity straight away to jump to your next one, and that's
Yes.
whole instant equity. Like, that's amazing.
this is Burpengary, is it?
It is,
Yes.
yeah.
And
So-
funny story, right? So started off on the program. He's had to put in an extra 35,000. Not fun, but look at the result we got. The next property he gets, as soon as he signs that EOI orders contracts, the next day the prices of those properties in Burpengary went up $40,000. So
Wow.
now he's had this
40 grand.
swing. Like the full swing effect has gone from, okay, I've got to put in an extra 35. Now I've
Yeah.
ordered contracts. The next stage is now selling for $40,000 more. So
So that's amazing. So you made 134,000, another 40 on top of that, just by getting that equity out and getting that growth.
Yes.
And look, the thing is, successful people do the things that unsuccessful people aren't willing to do.
yeah.
That's what it comes down to, right? Because what we do, if you look at the core principles, what we do is pretty simple, right? But it's not easy. It's hard because emotions are there, and it's hard to ignore the low valuation, trust that you're going to make money, and then do it all again. But the first time's the hardest, because now that you've made the money, the second time's probably really easy for you.
Yes, it's easier.
Definitely.
Yeah, easier because you're already ahead, right?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. But it takes courage, and it takes courage to get out of your programming from what we've been taught all our lives about principal interest, about working and not investing and all that sort of stuff. And once you become an investor, once you have that red pill, you can't go back to the blue pill again. You really can't.
No, we're
Absolutely. It's like the Matrix. It really is, because because I bet if you told your friends that you made 134 grand in 6 months, they probably may not even believe you.
They don't believe you.
No,
They don't.
Right? They probably don't, right?
No.
And then they're gonna go, then you go, oh yeah, and then I got the instant equity and I put it in another property and they've already got up 40 grand. They're like, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think I really
Probably
appreciate
not.
Greg as well. Was that
And look, that's oh sorry, go.
I was going to say, what I really appreciate about Greg and Suzanne as well is when we had the shortfall, we had a few conversations backwards and forwards, like really unpacking why was it short, should we actually go? And we had a few other little strategies in the background. So I think one of the strategies was put the $30,000 in. You can always do a refinance 6 months later. get that money back out with another
Exactly.
lender. You know, we had some backup strategies. So we always had this, we always knew it was like a short-term pain for a long-term gain. But the long-term gain ended up being, you know, a lot better in the end anyway, because we didn't really need to refinance just to get that extra money you put in, because you got a lot more, which is now put into another property, and you've been able to leverage from that. So I really appreciate the both of you for your trust and, you know, leaning on me and asking all the right questions, not following blindly, but making sure that we're getting our facts and getting all of our checks and balances to make the best decision for the both moving forward. And you have, and it's been an amazing working with the both of you, as I feel with all of my members. I see some of you out there. Hello. Don't forget.
And likewise. Thank you both too.
The thing is, you got to find reason to say yes when you're investing, not reason to say no.
Correct.
It's very
Definitely.
easy to have
100%.
reason to say no. And that just, as you become more mature and educated with property and investing, you find reasons to say yes. And when you're first starting out, because you're scared, you're finding reasons to say no. And I've had so much experience, very hard for me to say no to anything because I know the numbers and I'm really clear on things. You know, I bought a massive development up in Queensland, you know, multi millions of dollars, and didn't even see it till after I bought it and flew up there. Didn't even know where it was. Right? But I've got the experience now, right? And that property has gone up so much already by the time I actually saw it. You know, and
I know what you're saying, George, because the last property we've just to put a deposit down on, it was like, we want this property. We want this property. How we know the numbers are good. We want this property. How are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? And it made us very clear.
How can we do it?
We were very clear. How can we do it? But the numbers are so good. We have to do it. Whatever we have to do, we have to do it. Because we know it's only a short time that we have to be just a little bit, you know, just cool down a bit, because then it's just going to go bang. It's going to go up.
Yeah, exactly. Susan, I love your attitude, and that's what you need to do. And, you know, both of you on the same page is fantastic. I love where you found to do your video. This is so awesome. Oh, it's fantastic.
I wanted the
Very
pool in the background, but Greg said no, we're not moving furniture around.
We have to move all the furniture around. So, if you want to do that.
Staying in a lovely place. I love it. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is lovely.
Yeah. Lovely.
Definitely. Well, so quickly, what would you say to people looking at our programs? We're live streaming this now. People that are looking, there's people on the sidelines looking at our videos on YouTube, everything. What would you say to them? Because people are thinking about it, but they're probably not sure.
Just do it. Trust them. Trust the system, because that's the hardest thing that we found too. Is to, even when we signed up, it was just, oh, we've done the right thing here, you know, like, and you always have those doubts. But looking back now, we just think it's just, we don't even think about that anymore. You know, we just think about the group, and we love the Sherps. We love coming to the Sherps every week. And just being involved with the group, basically. I mean, it's become fun.
Yeah, definitely. You all will become family, because you can't share this much information and share this much. It's very intimate what we all do. And you do have to have a very full-on trust. And all I can say to the members is just be translucent, put your ducks in a row, and then just go forward. But you just need to understand that you nothing is gonna all just go bang. You have to put the hard work in.
You just got to start.
You have to just put the hard work in, and then move one step at a time, and you will get there. Whatever your capacity is, you will get there.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And Greg and Susan, thank you for being part of our community. It's awesome. I love the community. That's my favorite part of this whole job, is the community. Right? That's what I love. And when I retired off property, it got lonely because all my friends were working and I had all this passive income. And that's part of the reason I started this, my own selfish reasons, to create a beautiful community that I can hang out with. And I love it. It's my favorite thing. So,
we love it too. Yeah.
Right.
I think, Greg and Suzanne, what really led to your success on the program as well is that you were open to listening, you were quick to implement, when you got stuck, you would reach out to me. We had numerous Zoom calls and meetings when you felt stuck or you didn't understand anything, you didn't sit on your hands, you didn't, it didn't become too hard basket. It was like, how do I move to the next step, especially with the finance for the next one? I know we kept going backwards and forwards. How are we going to get finance? How are we going to get this? What do we need to do? And that was because you had that grit and that drive, and you're always quick to book into my calendar when you needed help and assistance.
That's right.
Quick to implement. You trusted the what was shared between us in our sessions. You trusted Well Street, which is our finance, and what needed to happen at the time. Like, it's just been an amazing process because you were putting the following the steps, because I think that's what I love about Positive Property, is that it's a 12-step program, and if you follow the steps and you implement when you're asked to implement, you're going to get the results.
Exactly.
And that's what the work that you did, and I appreciate your trust, and it's been fun. Is the journey?
It has been fun.
Yeah. Next one.
Appreciate everything too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
a great team.
And look, 12-step program. Is that like AA? Isn't that a 12-step program as well?
Oh my God!
I think so.
I'm sure. I don't know. Yeah. So look,
now we wonder, has George been to AA? Because that's obviously the back of his mind for his own 12-step program.
No. I'm addicted to life. That's about it. Now, what I'd love to do, Charmaine, is I'd love to go through some member wins and then do some breakout rooms.
All right. So just for those that didn't see it already, so this is Greg and Suzanne's property in Red Bank Plains. So member wins. So celebrating Mark and Melanie from South Australia. So they brought in Rothwell, settled in April 2025. Purchase price of $743,900, currently valued at $833,000. Current profit $89,000. Now they only invested $74,390, so they've had 120% return on investment. So congratulations to Mark and Melanie. If you're in the room, just give us a shout out in the message.
They're a yellow belt, so that's their second property.
Correct. And then we've got Greg and Laurie from New South Wales. So they brought in Boronia, Victoria. They settled in March 2025. They purchased for $599,000 or $600,000. Deposit $59,000. Currently valued at $709,000. So profit $109,000. So they've had 182% return on investment. So congratulations to Greg and Laurie. Orange belts. They're on their third property. We've got Stacey from New South Wales on a yellow belt, so 2 properties. Stacey brought in Raceview in Queensland in 2023. She purchased it for $452,700. Her deposit was $45,270. Currently valued at $600,000. Look at that, $147,300 current profit. That's a 325% return on investment. This is really exciting. I really love sharing real life people and real life results.
Okay, now we can switch off the live stream. We're going to go in our private group. Just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Greg and Susan, thank you so much for streaming in and doing the case study. It was a great session. And like I say, I love the community. The community is my favorite part of this whole thing. So big love from me and the team. And look forward to seeing the people in Bali and see you guys when I get back from Bali. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.